All right. B-side, STL.
B-side time.
Here we are.
Coming in with a little St. Louis love.
What are we listening to?
One of my favorite dudes on the South Side in particular, St. Louis and in general. His name is Nick Gusman.
Outstanding.
Doing this on purpose because at the time of this recording, this single Songbird literally dropped today. Nick is one of those dudes that just like kind of personifies a lot of what, you know, all of us try to describe. Oh, what is St. Louis about? What is your city about? Is it cool? Is it edgy? Is it gritty? And then there's a guy like Nick Gusman, and you're like, yeah, it's like that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
he plays this big
Personified.
Yeah, he's got a big full band that's like a rock and roll rowdy band, and then he does his own solo stuff like this. That's just he's just an incredible songwriter, and he's a St. Louisan through and through. He's got dirt under his nails all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
well, he's one of those guys that like
JB's favorite.
Yeah, well, that's actually my second worst pet peeve is dirty long fingernails on dudes.
That's why when you told me, you know, that was your pet peeve. I'm like, you hang out with so many musicians.
Well, look, I don't mind a little thumbnail. I get it.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a fine line.
Hey, man, I move people for a living, and I hate moving. So you know.
Well, hey, man, we're here.
Toddler's children never have shoes.
We got another episode today. Today's gonna be a lot of fun because I was able to actually wrangle one of my buddies. We've kind of crossed paths the last 6, 7, 8 years plus.
Yeah.
Really, kind of from the early Gaslight days. In fact, my first introduction to you was compliments of the one and only Scrub.
Scrub, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Adam Estep.
Yeah, the best.
You, Mr. Nate Burrell, were brought in to my kind of experimental playground that was Gaslight.
Yeah.
Really is Gaslight. It still exists. It's there.
Yeah.
It's just another operator now. But you came in and I knew who Scrub was. Scrub, you know, everybody's like, oh, here's this dude. He's a Missouri guy. He's from the woods. He's from the sticks. But he's a great rapper. And I just thought he was a cool dude. And then here's his buddy. And I'm like, okay, what's his buddy do? You know? Yeah. And I slowly learned you're a baller, too. You know you're a baller, right? Do you like that? Do you like that title a little bit?
No,
not at all.
How do you feel about baller? No.
You don't like that?
It's cool.
Now, this is going to be a fun one. We're down here, you know, kind of the whole point of the show. Actually, we don't. This is one thing, Anthony, I was thinking about this the other day. Typically, in the world of production, there's a lot of pre-production.
Yeah.
Specifically when it comes to why, the what, the how, right? We don't really have a mission statement for the show, and I think that's kind of become an advantage of the show.
Yep.
And so
you can't put it in a box.
No, because I think it's one of those things like, you know, one of the things we react to through this, and you know, you've listened to a few, Nate. The point is, what is St. Louis, right?
Yep.
It's more than T-Ravs. It's more than thin John Goodman. You know, we you know,
gooey butter cake.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, okay, what really is it?
Yeah.
And I think it's most important is you know, your whole career, your business, Acclimate. What you guys do is take people from out of market and make them part of the market.
Yep.
Right. So I think
incredible.
This was one that I was really looking forward to because once I found out kind of what you did and you know, just a little bit of the cool cadence for the most part, that was all fine. Like, really great photographer, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I think the most intriguing thing for me was you're a soccer guy.
I am. Yeah.
Nate Burrell.
Is he really?
Yeah, welcome here we are. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, or you're listening on Apple, go over to YouTube and watch it on YouTube. We've got a little bus in the background, and there's our boy Nate. You are an Ohio kid.
I am. Yeah, absolutely.
Not just any part of Ohio, but
Yeah.
Akron.
Ohio.
Akron.
Yeah.
You're in the Granite City portion of Ohio.
Yeah, I'm a zip. Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
Northeast. Yep.
So number one, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you doing this. Put a pin in the map for us, because you're not a St. Louisan,
Nope.
but
But kinda.
yeah, you've morphed into one. Where's home, which we just talked about a little bit of the early interest, and let's kind of start mapping this thing out a little bit.
Yeah. So I am originally from Rootstown, Ohio. It is a rural town in Portage County, which is where Kent State University is. Maybe 10 miles south of or east of Akron. So Akron, Kent are right here, and then you got Cleveland, which is, half hour, 40 minutes up the road.
North.
Yep, absolutely. So Northeast Ohio.
So siblings,
Yep, sibling. I have one older brother.
older brother.
Yep, yeah, he's 4 years older.
So you were the puppy.
What's that?
You were the puppy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And being that this is a St. Louis-based show, let's talk about your soccer passion, because we know a little bit about that here.
Yeah.
You're a baller. You played, right?
Yeah, I did. I played. So I played starting when I was young, 5-6 years old, and then played through, traveling soccer and club soccer, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Went to the University of Akron. I'm a zip, and they're a very good soccer program, honestly. D1, they contend.
Is that why I feel like there's a lot of soccer out of Ohio? It's a thing. Is there a reason behind
No,
that?
because
Forgive my ignorance.
you can only
but
get outside
I feel like it's a
6 or
huge-
7 months of the year. Their winters are bad.
Interesting.
But it's like you would think most of the soccer
They've always had fans.
the feeder
there.
systems are places where you would normally think that you can be outside all year and train and this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. I think in Ohio, it's weird because they also have a ton of football players.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, there's just good athletes there because I think it's like, I don't know,
So you're talking about the Ohio State.
the Ohio State. Yeah.
Like Columbus, I feel like has a other side of the, but
Well,
has a scene.
yeah,
a soccer scene, kind
Totally.
of like we do.
Yeah,
They have
Columbus.
2 stadiums.
Well, Columbus.
Do they really?
Columbus
they had-
Crew was one
yeah.
of the original
One of the
8
originals.
Yeah.
in MLS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were one of the original teams. Yes.
Yeah, from a soccer perspective, Ohio is kind of like a little bit of a stepchild of everybody else, because there's not a lot of professional sports in Ohio.
Yes.
You got Cincinnati, you got Cleveland with the Browns and
Yeah.
Indians, but it's not. There's not a lot of expanded sports for the most part.
Huh.
And soccer is an accessible sport, and
Yeah.
last year in college soccer, Ohio State, they were number 1 the majority of the year. So it's a soccer community.
Yeah.
Did you know? Well, you know this because we've talked about it, but I got to bring it up because your Akron Zips
Yeah.
are the gaffer is a good old Granite City boy,
Yep. Yeah,
Jared Imbeck.
absolutely.
Small world, right?
Yeah, and he's running a top-notch program.
Were you a Cleveland fan?
Cleveland
Or were
sports.
you a Pittsburgh, or were you a Cleveland? Or
Always
were you,
Cleveland.
Yeah,
Always
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Good
it's,
man.
It's
Yeah.
like, moving here, it's like I never lived in a place and where I'm from did not have hockey. So I'm a blues fan.
Yep.
And I'm a City fan.
Yep.
But it's hard to be a Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
I pay attention,
Sure.
but you can't root against your home team.
Yeah.
It's hard to give that up.
Got to do it.
Yeah,
Got to
absolutely.
do it.
So
Little Guardians love and
Yeah.
How about Browns? I've got a lot of Browns fans in my
I'm
family.
a Browns
so,
fan. I'm
yeah,
a Browns
good.
fan.
Me too.
yeah.
what,
Do you ever go to right there at Tam Avenue Bar in Dogtown?
I
You know
absolutely-
that.
oh,
You know
yeah.
that's the Browns.
They're a Browns
that's
backer
the
bar.
For anybody listening.
Yep.
You want to find every Cleveland person in St. Louis just starting about a month from now.
Yep. Tam Avenue.
Tam Avenue. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And they got a great what's the chicken nugs place that's there?
Oh yeah, they used to be across the street right over here. Bird and Barrel.
Bird and Barrel.
Bird and Barrel.
Excellent.
Their nugs are awesome.
You think you've had chicken nuggets, kids? You have not until you have the Bird and Barrel chicken nugs and watching a Browns game.
So you go from Akron. Yep. You graduate from Akron?
Yeah. Interdisciplinary anthropology, one of the most unapplicable degrees you could have.
So you were a bartender?
No, never. No. Nope.
Anthropology majors make the best podcast guests. What, by the way?
Wasn't our boy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We've had a few on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why? So let's immediately just kind of hit the fast forward button.
All right.
You're an Ohio kid. You grew up in Akron. You played at Akron. You get your anthropology degree. Zip through the days. See the little pun
no
right
pun.
there. No pun intended.
I see what you did there.
How and where does St. Louis come on to the map for you?
So I moved from Akron to Oakland, California, Berkeley specifically. So the Bay Area. And I lived there for 5 years. And then I moved to St. Louis in May of 2009.
Okay.
Yep.
So after the economy crashes, everything's blowing up.
Yeah.
It's chaos. You're in Berkeley. What draws you here? What's the crosshair?
I moved here with my an ex-partner at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was coming here to go to grad school.
Ex-partner was not a St. Louisan.
She was a St. Louisan, actually. That's why she was coming back. So she did sculpture and painting out in Oakland at a small school called Mills. It's like an all-girls college, great art program. And then she moved back here to get her master's, and I moved with her. And we ended up parting ways, pretty shortly after I got here, and I was thinking about going back to California. And I got into so when I moved here, I got into music photography in this community pretty quickly after I moved here.
Now, you were a photographer prior, though?
I was learning how to be a photographer. Yeah, so I'd started taking photos when I was 14 years old, and then not really trained, nothing like that. And then when I got into Oakland, I moved out there with a musician and was involved in some of the scene in Oakland, and just started to learn how to do music photography. Was really bad.
Well, let me ask you this though. Okay, so you start to get into photography post college because the anthropology degree. You're like, I'm going to take pictures.
Yeah. So I thought I might get in. I thought I might get into academia or higher education when I moved out there.
So you go out there. Camera's been in your hand for 10 plus years at that point, right?
With zero intent.
What was it about taking pictures that hooked you? Maybe from the teen years, because it obviously pulled you into taking it seriously.
Yeah. I think I think with the photography, what drew me to it quite a bit is it's a passing moment. Every time you click a shutter, it's a passing moment, and something stops, and you capture one thing, and it's literally gone like that,
Yeah.
And I thought that was real cool, and it's modern day documentation, so it's in the present, it is social media, it is news, it is art, whatever it is. But it's also future history too, at least with what I've done music careers.
Hold on a second. Future history.
Yeah. That's the things I'm doing now, or a lot of photographers are doing now, is they're capturing so let's talk music photographers.
Yeah.
they're documenting a concert or a band's trajectory, whatever it is. And it's like what we see it as is like the next Instagram post. But really it's like that is future history of like the St. Louis music scene or the American music scene or the punk rock music scene or whatever genre you're working in.
Never thought of that.
I've never heard that term.
I think that's cool.
I've heard a lot of terms.
I think that's cool for photography is like when people take photos, sometimes there's no intent. Sometimes it's a job. Sometimes it's a pursuit of some kind of personal project. But like, when you're documenting things that, for better or worse, get a headline or a footnote, it is future history.
Yeah.
You're the keeper of the memory. Memories.
Yeah. You help add to it.
So let me do this. For the sake of the show, what I want to do is I want to run to the finish line just for a second, and then I want to come back and go through this pathway. Frankly, here's how I'm going to put this. Name drop. Name some of the people that you've had sessions with, that you've taken pictures of, that you've created future history of, kind of, maybe your peak or your own kind of like career, Mount Everest. Can you name some names that you've taken a picture of? And I want to do that because I want the listener to like understand where you've been, but I want to go backwards. I don't want to get in. I want to go back to 14-year-old Nate, and and what your eye was looking at.
Yeah.
So just real quick, if you don't mind, Jason, and name some names if you don't mind.
Yeah, in music, like some of the bigger people that I've worked directly with.
Yeah.
Gotten to take portraits, multiple times portraits of Jack White. I worked with Jason Isbell and Amanda Shires when they were coupled. Both, like her first show at the Ryman with him when he started this run that's going to be like one of the biggest, of now. It's like it's going to stand. It's like it's set a precedence for what people are doing there. But yeah, I worked with Amanda and Jason. I toured a lot with Pokey Lafarge. I've been in studios with Sharon Van Etten. And then just like concert-wise, it's like I've gotten the chance to take photographs of 90% of what's in your record collection and your parents' record collection. It's just like icons.
One of my favorite experiences with you ever was literally in our building at Gaslight. Whenever the last Lou Fest was running its course, when the chaos of no more rehearsal space, this all fell out on a Tuesday. I get a phone call Tuesday night, and they're like, "We need space for rehearsal," and I'm like, "Well, I got a wood shop," and I had no idea what they were really asking. And next thing you know, over the next 72 hours, you're shooting photos in the back of the building with Pokey, Cage the Elephant, Spoon, Captain Kirk,
Valerie June.
I mean, can you take a second to talk about that particular experience? Because, I always think in terms of a professional photographer, and like you go in with these big artists and everything is on a checklist. But it would have been impossible for there to have been a checklist in our experience.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So I had done photography for Lou Fest for a couple of years. But it was basically a Chuck Berry tribute when he died.
Yeah.
And so it was it was signed off by the family and the estate and all of that, and it was here in St. Louis at Lou Fest. And it was all the rehearsals. I mean, it happened pretty quickly, and whoever put it together did a hell of a job, But you fly people in from all over the country, like you were saying, like people from The Roots, people from Spoon, people from Cage the Elephant. And they're all in the back of this bar in a wood shop, meeting each other for the first time, having learned songs within the last 48 hours to like perform in front of however many people went there, 50,000 people, I don't know. So that was, I got asked to do that specifically, and it was just full access. And, it's like, that's when you and I became way more introduced. And as far as the photography experience, it's just like, you'd be a fly on the wall. Like, you're getting handshakes and hugs and first hellos, which is really cool. But it's just like, they're people. They're famous, but they're there literally working. Like, they're kind of like, holy shit, like, we can't screw this up. This is Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
But we also really we haven't listened to this song in 13 years.
Yeah. And nobody asks, where's the air?
Yeah.
Can I ask, is it always about the work, and is it about Chuck? But when you're working with musicians, kind of in an intimate process of photographing them, it's work for them. So, I mean, they've been performing around the world. Do they ever ask you or kind of acknowledge, where they are and the spaces that they're in or the city that they're in? Do you get some perspectives on the Midwest or even St. Louis that maybe some others wouldn't, if you will? Or is anybody just curious what the perception has been when they land here?
When they land here, it's like, we're sitting outside of the Whiskey Ring right now, and above the Whiskey Ring is a recording studio called Native Sound.
Yep.
And there's like, there's no signage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really incredible local and national scale records that have been made, like literally right up there.
Yeah.
Father John.
Yeah. I mean, and it's
do they know that ahead of time? Do they kind of know understand the profundity of where they are sometimes?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, because St. Louis also is a place where it's like, if a bigger, well-known person walked down the street, I think that they're going to be left alone a lot more here than most cities. And I do like that, like the whole, like as an outsider, like the show me thing. Yeah. It's like, I do. I think that's a very cool attribute in mass. Like, what I mean? Like,
when I think it was Johnny Depp, when he moved to Paris, and they were like, why do you see some of these big stars go to some of these, private, more provincial places? And that's what they say. I think George Clooney mentioned that when he was filming Up in the Air here. He was like, they didn't really, maybe of course some people knew, but they just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, you get to just kind of be you get to be a person. You get to be anonymous again.
You get to be yourself.
Yeah,
like,
just yourself.
They are here when they're like in a music studio or when they're making art intentionally.
Yeah.
They're working. Yeah, it's like they're paying for it. They're paying for the space. They paid for all the band members to be here.
Yeah.
Like, they work their asses off. Like, we get to see the rewards of what they do. Like, having gotten to see literally every aspect of records being talked about before they're made. Like, being in, like, seeing albums come together, like seeing every phase of music photography or the music experience of an album or a show or whatever. They work hard. They work incredibly hard, and I think it's fair for them to raise their prices on their albums and to add $2 to the ticket sale.
Sure.
Like, it's hard, man. It's really hard what they do.
So let me ask you. I want to get into the transplant side of things, because you're not a replant. You're not from here. We always joke about, there's a huge volume of replants.
Sure.
Right. But you were a newbie. You came with the girl. You came with an intention. That didn't. The relationship didn't work.
I stayed after the reason you came.
And you stayed.
Yeah.
That's my question. When that started to fizzle, and all I care about is why were the Roots planting at that point? What was it? What appealed to you about St. Louis?
Sure. It was a slow love to learn. honestly. So she and I split up, and I was like trying to figure out how to get back to California, and I had just started like doing photography here and had my first out of town gig. So I was over in Kansas City, photographing an artist and working with her. And when I was going back to the hotel, I was in an accident, and it like completely shattered the lower part of my left leg. And so that is what kept me here. Like specifically, if I'm going to like put a pin in it, as you said, like I got 8 pins right here.
No pun.
So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like it was your misery moment.
Yeah. So
Kathy Bates was your nurse, and
no. I mean, I had 2 surgeries.
Bound feet.
Yeah, 2 surgeries, 30 days.
Beetle Bob was your nurse.
2 surgeries, 30 days apart. Pins, screws, metal plates throughout my ankle, all that stuff. And I didn't really have established friends at that point. It was less than a year after I moved here.
Yeah.
And so I was really reliant upon my ex-partner, and she was great, you know.
What neighborhood did you guys move to?
When I first moved here, I lived in Webster Groves.
Yep. Nice.
Yep, which is where she was going.
The mean streets of Webster.
Yeah.
There's some artists in Webster Grove.
Yeah. So
Steve Ewing is from Webster Groves.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So
College town ish.
It is. Yeah. They have a
Yeah.
great movie selection in their library.
I bet.
Incredible, actually.
I bet. Conservatory.
Yeah.
Is that-
Great film selection. Incredible. But I got in an accident and I stayed here to do physical therapy, and I fell in love with the city slowly. And it was like right before the accident is when I met the Pokey band, and it was like not just Pokey. It was so I met a photographer and filmmaker here. His name is Bill Streeter.
I know Bill.
And so Bill and I had the same like camera at the time, and it was like my first time at Off Broadway. I was watching this band who still plays together with now an added addition, but they're called the Hoot and Hollers, and that was like one of the first bands I photographed here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's old boy's name with the glasses?
It's Andy and John. Andy is the drummer. John's the guitar player. Kelly Everett is the saxophonist.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So as you are, because I have to assume you're recovering. Your initial probably draw was, how do you get back to California? You kind of alluded to that.
Yeah.
You have this long recovery, get back to normal. Was it the music? Was it the people? Was it the speed? Was it the cadence? Was it the fucking weather? You know,
It was the people and the experience, honestly. So I got in this accident. I was on crutches for a long time, but I was like, that was when I started getting like photo passes and had like outlets, magazines, websites backing me. And so I was crutching down the aisles in the pageant.
Yeah.
And I would like at that time there was like people like Lewis Kwok and Todd O. Young and Corey Woodruff and Virginia Herald. You know, photographers, yeah. And like I would just like post up, and I had to learn to shoot music photography in a totally different way, and I ended up shooting I was shooting with a digital camera. It's got to be to the internet tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it was very like I only had so many shots because my balance was all messed up.
Because of the injury.
Yeah. So it was like I was shooting
way.
film, and it, like the approach to film, like every frame costs, and so it's like I had a lot more to choose from rather than just, what you can usually do, like moving in and around the pit, So like I would just like kind of play this dance with the other photographers. Like they'd be going over here. And so that's why, like, if you look at my photography, there's a lot of profile shots. And yeah, because I started out shooting like a lot because I was shooting 3, 4, 5 nights a week on crutches. Absolutely. And that's what kept me here. And during that, I met a lot of St. Louis people. Like I had moved to the city at that point. I was living above the Blue City Deli. So I got to live there for several years. I was just doing a lot of work.
Did you take pictures of sandwiches for trade?
Nope, never. Never, but I think I've
that muffalata is beautiful.
Yeah.
They do music on Saturdays.
They used to. I don't think that, they used to. When I was living there, they did Thursday nights and Saturday afternoons.
So
the line moves fast,
folks.
Just so you know, and a lot of people pull up to Blue City and they see the line and they turn around. They have their act together there, park the car, it goes quickly.
Yeah, it's worth the wait.
So let me ask you this then, and then we're going to take a quick break after this. When you're doing that, kind of on crutches, you're recovering, you eventually get to know crutches. You're getting these passes. You're taking the shots you want to take. What was the point where you were like, okay, I'm recovered, I'm fit, I wanted to go to California, but I'm not?
Yeah, it was going through that, and like when you make friends when you're at significantly less than your normal self, you find love for people in a really honest way where it's just like, it was basically like semi-strangers who became friends that helped me. And that's what
they had credibility, because it wasn't, you weren't at your tip-top physical shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they
even in your career.
Yeah, I mean, just as a person. I mean, a lot of people who are my closest friends now helped me in the very beginning because we were acquaintances, and they're that kind. And that's like, you ask what keeps me in St. Louis. It's like, it's a genuine kindness here.
Relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. People matter to other people here.
It's so funny because I when I think of St. Louis, like as a St. Louisan, and when people ask me to describe it when I travel, I always lean into the high school thing and this self-deprecation, and there's this like, oh, it's gritty and cool, and I don't know. I think I've like swallowed I took the bait.
Yeah.
The hook is in my lip, and so when I hear you describe it, the genuine and a little bit more empathetic and connectivity, it's like we forget that.
Yeah.
Because we're almost like trained to be, self-deprecating.
Absolutely. and we miss the other side of it, which is often, we're slow to. It takes longer to break in.
Absolutely.
As you were saying,
Real.
It takes longer to break in. Takes longer to get hired. It's a slow burn here, but once you're in, this place is like the mafia. I mean, they will do, they will do anything to keep you. They will do anything for you. So it starts out slow, but it ends up being permanent. So in a way that, we need to, and I also need to talk about more of that. What's the flip side of the show me state? A little bit of the suspicious private,
could it be
but once you're in, man, I mean,
could it be that the whole show me state shtick,
it's like a gauntlet to go through. It's
kind of missing the point. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't need to show you anything.
Yeah.
Just, hey, you want to come hang out?
Yeah.
How about the hangout state instead of the show me state?
Yeah. Well, we see the fence, but we don't see what always happens on the other side of the fence.
Oh my God.
And that's what's so interesting.
Well, I think about the families, like the mafia families in New York. There were 5 families.
Yeah.
Well, St. Louis, we got you. There's 98 municipalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually one big giant mafia.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to roll out with my buddy, our buddy, Nick Gusman's most recent Songbird single. Go check it out on Spotify. Give it a spin. Give it a follow. Dude's an ace. When we come back, we're going to be talking about photography, St. Louis shows, shticks, go-tos, dives with Mr. Nate Burrell. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you on the flip side.
All right.
Be right back. All right. B-side. Down here on Cherokee. In the
where are we right now?
Yeah, South City, Whiskey Ring, Cherokee Street.
Little shout out to the Whiskey Ring.
Absolutely.
Thanks for letting us crash. I mean, we knew you would let us crash because nature boy.
And the ring is awesome. Yeah, it's the neighborhood anchor.
I want to come back in here. I'm rolling in with a little bit of one of your faves. Actually, I think she's brilliant too. Beth Bombara, just kind of, she's like St. Louis's Tweety. And I hate to say it that way, but I mean, it's just kind of she's just a really, really good songwriter.
Incredible.
And is anchored out of here and continues to bang away. So, and you've done a lot of work with her.
I have, yeah, absolutely. I've worked with Beth for a long time, over 10 years.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about Cherokee. For those that are listening to our conversation here, Nate's got he's got his website out there. Go check it out. It'll be in the show notes. But one of your most recent projects was the bigger projects was the COVID.
Yeah.
Kind of
COVID days.
COVID days.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take a second and like, you're a social guy. This is a social neighborhood. We all lived through COVID. What inspired you to like pick up the camera and like, you know what, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make all this bullshit, all these masks. I wanna. What was the saying you said earlier? Future history.
Future history. Yeah.
You created a whole series of future history.
Yeah.
What was the draw?
I mean, the draw was, I took the photos in April of 2020.
When it's all going.
Yeah, so it was a month in. So, you know, if you think back to the very beginning, so like the last show that I had as a photographer, I was at, I don't know what it's called now, but the jazz club in Midtown, Jazz at the Bistro.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching Dave Grelly's band, who was phenomenal. And like, Dave sells that place out a couple nights. And it was half empty, and that's when you started hearing about a shutdown. And this was February, March. And so like in April, at that point, like, we weren't just away from work. It was like, oh, something's happening here. And you started to see at first everybody felt like they were on vacation. It was like a snow day when you were a kid, right? And it was like people didn't realize what it would become, honestly. And so when I took the photographs, a month had set in and businesses were realizing that, shit, people aren't coming indoors. We can't even open our doors. And restaurants were closed, and nursing folks who were a part of the project as well, you know, they're treating patients, you know, like 3 times in abundance. And all of a sudden it's like it went from like this happy, weird, not happy, but like
snow day is a good description.
Yeah, it was a snow day. It was
like, you were
not
serious about this.
Yeah. When the seriousness was realized, and I think that you see it in the photographs if you look at them. There's fear and there's uncertainty, and there's a nervousness to most of the photos.
Well, I think in terms of like, you know, when you scroll social media today and you see, you know, a kid wrecking his bike or a housewife falling down the stairs, everything is kind of this ha in the moment thing. And I was thinking about your project the other day, and kind of in anticipation of this conversation. People didn't realize how shitty things were about to really get.
Absolutely.
So my question to you is like, when you go to them and you're like, hey, I have a camera, I want to capture you, because a lot of people are always, you know, like, don't take a picture of me, you know, I'm not funny, you know, there's nothing, you know, whatever. But you're trying to capture this like theme, because at the time you didn't know what was going on either. None of us really did.
Absolutely. But you, as a photographer,
what were those conversations like, though?
I mean, it was, you know, I think at that point everybody knew that it wasn't that their next week wasn't going to be like the 2 weeks previous. You know, it's like I feel like a month in, people started to realize like, damn,
this isn't a blip.
This is something. And the people that I like had in the series or whatever, it was like it was folks that were impacted in one way or another. And I think that we all started to realize like some of these businesses aren't going to stay open. It's just not going to happen. And that happened. You know, it's like one of the Ready Room. You know, I took their photo and it has like the leadership or whatever.
Yeah.
And it has their concert calendar. And after I took the photo, they're like, that's the last photo it's going to take. Like, we're not going to make it out of this.
Wow.
And it was just like, and they didn't. You know, and it was a wonderful venue. But people knew at that point. And so, like, when I was, like, reaching out to them, I was just honest about it. Like, I did have the good grace in the fact that I've lived in this neighborhood a long time, and a lot of it was around here.
A lot of them knew you.
Yeah. I didn't. I mean, there's definitely folks I met for the first time during the project. But I focus it as like trying to show St. Louis in this time, and there was, you know, it was a 2-week period. I think that there was 43 or 44 portraits.
So let me ask a follow-up question. Prior to that, you really dug your heels in. You were a music guy.
Uh-huh.
You're going to the venues. You're shooting rock and roll. I mean, it's like pop culture at its finest, right? And I know that you've historically, probably from 14 up, taken pictures of buildings and grass and everything else.
Trees and flowers and all
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my question is, you read people. You know, you cut your teeth and you got really, really good as a photographer through the lens of rock and roll. Mm-hmm. So when you were doing the COVID, the project, these people were like, rock and roll is all high.
Yeah.
These people were on a low and a spiral.
Yeah.
How did that affect you? How did you adjust or approach your shots? Because it's almost more funeral-esque,
sure,
than rock and roll.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, prior to that project, I'd done so much music photography that I was well known in certain parts of the city, and through that, I've worked with other like business. I don't just do music photography, but like, you know, I did some like restaurant photography and like not like more of the. I like live. Like, I like people's motions, you know, like none of my photography is like exact, you know, it's like there's movement. It's not perfect, but like, as far as like getting into doing these portraits with these folks, like they knew that I was a competent photographer, and a lot of them I knew. So I started out like working with people at first, like the first series of people were folks that I felt comfortable asking to be vulnerable in front of a camera, you know, and St. Louis's community. And like, I told folks like in the email that I sent them, like it's a community project to show our city right now as it is.
Yeah.
And they were all, I got a few no's, you know, which is understandable. But for the most part, everybody was into it. And, you know, some of those folks were like very good friends that was the only time I saw them during the first 2 years, you know, like that one day for 10 minutes, 6 feet apart was our hello and it was our aloha, you know, it's a hello and goodbye. yeah.
I love that.
Totally.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I guess what is one of the things I love about Cherokee is, you know, seeing people from around the world move here. You know, they go, I missed Brooklyn, I missed the Renaissance, I missed Williamsburg, but here I kind of get to be a part of it.
Yeah, sure.
And in a you know, just inside right now here at the Whiskey Ring, the bartender Casey's from Portland.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, how did Portland end up on Cherokee? And you know, I guess let me put it another way. I always get so interested in, so a relationship brings you to St. Louis, or a job brings you to St. Louis. And then after that's gone, some people decide to stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And was it Cherokee? Was that a big part of it? Was it the relationships as we talked about, or the people that you got to know? And then also we talk a little bit about on this show how St. Louis is an opportunity to be a Renaissance person.
Absolutely.
And to have your hobby or your interest or your art or your craft, it's still livable and you're able to do that. Was that part of when you were kind of when you were thinking about being a photographer, other than your leg injury, was that part of the reason you stayed in St. Louis? Did you feel like it would maybe be easier to hone your craft or to make it a profession here as opposed to going back to California?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, sure. Like, it's like you were saying, like, whether it's you're honing your craft or your art or your skill or whatever it is, like, I think for anybody that's never visited St. Louis, the one thing about this city is anything that you're into, you can get into and find support.
You can.
And I don't think that happens everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Renaissance.
Because the grind of
Yeah.
the traffic or the work or the money of some of these other markets,
and
here it's
not,
a little easier.
I mean, there's transplants come here and they see other transplants that are here, but also like the native St. Louisans, like you're talking about Renaissance people, like my friends from here that are from St. Louis are wildly skilled in multiple things. And it's
Scrub.
Yeah, literally.
Is that because you have extra time or because logistically it's easier, or is it just a cultural?
I think it's the spirit of the city, honestly.
Really?
Like whatever you give a shit about, no one cares that you give a shit about it, and it allows you to like literally have your own, like you create your own voice here more so than I think that you get into scenes elsewhere. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's absolutely artistically and like supportive wise, like people in St. Louis, there are wildly like world-class good people here in multiple fields and disciplines.
Within their discipline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they stand alongside folks that are learning, and it's the same community. And St. Louis allows people to find their voice here. And some people choose to continue to sharpen that voice, and some people take it elsewhere.
Yeah, well,
and there's no wrong answer.
Do you think that's specific to Cherokee, or is that a different?
I think it's St. Louis, honestly. Like
just everywhere.
I think this place is as spirited as any spirited city. Like it's this place is awesome.
Yeah. And what is sort of the hub of? So we talked about. So we're here at the Whiskey Ring. We talked about Yaquis. We talked about some of the. What is sort of is there kind of what's sort of the hub or the Chrysler building of Cherokee, if you will?
I don't know. I don't know that there's a hub. This is a community. Like Cherokee's the center of it, and people choose to live in this neighborhood.
I can tell you what mine is. It's going to be mud houses, bacon scone.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a building. It's an edible item.
Yeah. It's an item.
Yeah, that scone is fire. Let me ask you this. When you came here, another name drop moment, and I'm just going to put you on the spot. What were some of the people in, maybe the first year, 2 years, 5 years that were the creatives, that were the artists or fellow photographers or whatever, that were doing their thing, and given kind of your national taste buds, who stood out to you and why early out of the gate here in St. Louis?
Oh, man. Who stood out early? So in photography, there's a woman named Virginia Harold who recently moved away, but she's been a photographer here for a long time, and she started out like, she studied it, did some music photography, and then just got into doing everything for so many businesses, artists, acrobats, museums. I think to see her, I thought she was incredible. There's also, in the music photography world, there's a guy named Todd Ao-Young, who now is the photographer for Colbert, or was the photographer for Colbert.
Up until next summer.
Yeah. So
is he going to switch over to South Park because they're killing it?
Right? Totally. But but also, like, I met Pokey early on, and through Pokey, it was this whole band. It was.
Well, let me ask you, music-wise, everybody has their tastes. What was your taste? What was your genre? What did you gravitate towards? And what was your niche here in town?
I fell into the Americana scene pretty early. Fell into the hip-hop scene at that time a little bit early because of Scrub, Damon, the whole Far-Fetched situation.
Yeah.
So it's like those are folks I worked with early. I worked with Dave Grelly early, with his band at the time, who I also met Kevin Bowers through, who's a phenomenal drummer.
Yeah.
It's like,
do we have somebody who doesn't know the industry as well? Nashville's country, Louisville's bluegrass.
I know where you're going with this.
New Orleans is jazz. What's ours?
I think he nailed it.
Or can we even? It's just those.
I think it's the ragtime scene.
Ragtime,
like the trad jazz stuff. Like, we have. When you go out, one thing you'll find in St. Louis and especially South City is you'll find like old school dancing and like straight up swing dancing. And
it's like down at Broadway.
Yeah.
At your boys' club.
South Broadway.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. But we've got players like, Ethan is he's a piano player that plays. He's incredible. Like, we have this ragtime scene that's wild. Like, they're putting on shows every first Monday at Scott Joplin House.
But wouldn't you say,
and
though,
it's like, it's definitely worth it. Like, put into it. It's worth seeing.
Wouldn't you say, though, that look, they're really good. I mean, I know those guys. They would come into the studio. We had some fun with them. They're talented. It is a niche. Right, you got to seek out that art.
Yeah.
But I think, to your point, and I'm going to ask it as if you asked me the question, Anthony.
Yeah.
The genre that defines St. Louis. I do think that it is gutter Americana. I think we're a little grittier. And again, for me, you got to go back a number of decades to, I think, where it really started, within the music scene here. Uncle Tupelo over in Belleville, kind of in the late 80s and coming out. And, we have this perfect confluence of grit. And I hate that term. I really do. But I don't know how else to put it. Every train that crosses America, like 85% of them come through here. And, we are all the rivers. We're a confluence town, and
we're northern, we're southern,
we're Rust Belt, we're northern, we're southern. All this
shit,
right? And I think that there's this like organic reality to the songwriting and the style of music that comes out of here. That, to your point, Nate. Yes, the jazzy kind of ragtime stuff. It's cool. We're really, really good at it. But once you take the show out of the equation, like, the lives that all of us live are way more just lunch pail, gritty, grindy Americana. We all have a little country twang in our voice when we're pissed or drunk or happy.
Yep.
And then if we want to turn it off, we're a little bit more, cosmopolitan, blah, 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 right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I want to toss this to you, pop music-wise, and I don't mean it like true, like Madonna pop. Over the past maybe 5, 10, 15 years, forget it, the ragtime is a niche. Pop. opportunistic musicians, who's impressed you?
In St. Louis?
Yeah.
Or the larger landscape?
In St. Louis, that maybe two sides of this question. Number one, who did it and broke out and should have done it, and who could have done it and hasn't left the 314.
Well, as far as folks that play out, I mean, there's a lot. There's a ton. You see, like when I started, it was Pokey's band, which also has, like Ryan Koenig, who fronts the Goldenrods, and Joey Glynn, who plays bass with so many folks, including the Rum Drum Ramblers, and Adam Hoskins, who, he plays in punk bands and outfits that travel all around. Like those were the first people that took the music on the road as a living.
Yeah.
And then Kelly Everett works with the Hoot and Hollers, who they do it all over the world. I mean, they've gone to Europe and all through, overseas twice this year, and they're working from this neighborhood. And so there's also like bands like Beth Bombara, who you were playing earlier. Like I first met Beth when I first moved here, and she was playing drums in another band. Like, she's a lifer, and she's doing it like on a national and international scale at this point. And Gusman takes his band out on the road, and Hunter Peebles takes his band out on the road. Like, Dave Grelly can take his band to any city and wow people. It's like you've got folks like in the hip hop world, like Damon Davis, who started a label. He's this multi-talented artist.
Yeah.
He's taking his music all over.
What do you think? Well, let me ask a industry question then, because this is something that over coffee we've talked about multiple times. What is St. Louis missing? I mean, I don't want this show to be just a cheerleading.
It's like in the term of music business. Like, there's just not a ton of music business infrastructure here. But one thing you were saying earlier, though, that you had asked, so I was naming bands that played out of town, but you'd also asked a two-part question of bands that could have left and maybe shouldn't. Like, why didn't they? And I used to be like, why doesn't this band go out on the road?
Yeah.
Because they're good enough. There's so many good artists here. And then it's like you travel to New Orleans or places where they have their own, like, folks make a living in New Orleans. And honestly, for a while, I was always like, I wish XYZ would have left St. Louis and taken their music to whatever town. And as I've been here longer, it's like, oh, they just want to make their living here, and I think it's incredible. Like, we go to New Orleans to see their local musicians. Like, we shouldn't begrudge the musicians here that choose not to take the touring life, because touring is ugly and hard. And it's a loss every time unless you're huge. So, like, I think it's great business, but also it's like, it's one of those things, like you're talking about, what keeps you in St. Louis?
Yeah. It's like boomer grandparents now.
Shit.
Come see me.
It's that shit. It's like, it's like, oh, wow, this person or that person literally could be the star of the show and pick any city. I
love that.
And they choose to be here, and they choose not to tour, and I was just like, oh, wow. I get it now.
That's kind of cool.
I get it now. Like it's our own expectation, of like, we wish they were bigger.
Well, that's also an industry expectation, right? Because
they don't want to be a part of the industry, which is
no. Well,
you talk about grit, like
yeah, right.
There's St. Louis. Yeah, it's wonderful.
I don't want your money.
Yeah.
Well, just because they could have, just because you could doesn't mean you should. And
it doesn't mean they want to.
Interesting. And I also bring it up because if I had a nickel for every, when we're showing new people St. Louis for the first time, one of the things we do is we take them out and we show them the music.
Yeah.
Where's Broadway
your
Oyster Bar. I was at Venice Cafe on Saturday.
Excellent.
And how many times the newcomer or the candidate or somebody who's just visiting, thinking about moving here, turns to me and says, if that act, like what we're watching right now, we're in Austin, they would be world famous.
Yeah, like
we see
Emily Wallace.
Yeah, we see it. I mean, I hear it, and then they turn and they go, wait a minute, what did you pay the door
$5
to get in here.
Yeah,
And I
yeah, it's
go,
$5 to get into Venice.
Yeah,
and they'll turn and go,
Yeah.
this would have been $60 just to
Yeah, St. Louis
to
artists
walk in.
are
and so,
wildly talented, and I think, it's like when we tell people, like, don't tell anybody how cool it is in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like, it's that stuff. It's like if you go and listen, you're gonna hear great local artists. If you go and look, you're gonna see murals, and like people didn't come here and do that. It's like that's the neighborhood, and they were paid to do it. And it's like you go to the restaurants. It's like the chefs are top shelf.
But they ask
incredible.
and they go, why don't you want anyone to know? Why isn't this act
I want
on
people
the
to
road?
know.
Yeah. But the funny thing about bringing them here, that's such an interesting perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a couple of friends in town this past weekend, and
Makes it cooler.
they hadn't been here in 10 years, so I went to like some staples.
Yeah.
Venice was one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Oyster Bar was the first place we went to.
yeah.
It was like a daytime drink, and there was a band playing, and they were just
Right.
like, it's Thursday afternoon. And
Right.
I was like, yeah,
Like they do this 7 days a week.
totally.
Do you want to go to Sauget?
Right?
Yeah.
St. Louis is so charming. Like when people come here, they're like, our national headlines are not always favorable,
Yeah.
but then when you get here and like you experience it, people leave and they're like, holy shit.
Do you feel? Let me ask you just a super nerd question, like a LinkedIn question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel this is a city, as a creative, as a day jobber, that you have you live that kind of Renaissance life that we alluded to? Is this a city where you can thrive? Do you feel opportunistic here, or do you feel limited?
I think that you can do whatever you want here, which I was saying earlier. Like, I think that you're going to find support. I think people can hone their craft here, and people can stay as professional as they want. Like, we have people that don't have to be here that choose to be here.
Yeah.
We also have folks who will probably leave because this city has allowed them to become creative and a business professional and whatever it is. Like, I don't feel it's limiting. At this point, like, I do think we lack infrastructure. But also St. Louis has some oddly, like, people stay here and make it, quote unquote,
Yeah.
And so I personally, I don't feel limited at all here. I feel like I feel supported here. I feel as though that if I do anything outside of St. Louis, it's still supported and not judged. And you can live here really comfortably, with a really good quality of life. Like, every place has its things that are less favorable, but like, all in all, like, I don't think you have to leave to make it at this point.
Yeah, I love
You have to be willing to leave and go and work elsewhere, but you don't have to live somewhere else.
if you have that desire /
Yeah.
magnetic pull towards some other hill.
Yeah.
Right.
And also just how you define, like, what your success and your wants are. It's like, it doesn't have to be
Do
the rhyme in it.
Are you surprised 15 plus years later that you're still here?
Surprised? No. I've thought about, like, oh wow, what's my life been here? And I had time to do that when I left for a year with family, and I had time to reflect on it. And it's like, I'm not surprised I'm here. I've chosen to be here. I think it's a wonderful city. Like, I'm an advocate. I'm not from here. I'll never be the full St. Louisan. Because, like, real St. Louisans
Isn't that amazing?
Real
Yeah.
St. Louisans are from St. Louis.
Yeah.
I live here. I consider it my home.
They say it takes 10 years to become a New Yorker. And I'm like, what is the number in St. Louis?
Life,
Yeah.
man. Life. It's a life
It's
sentence.
been 45 years, and does it count yet?
Yeah, but I choose to live here, and I love it here. It's like, I live in this Cherokee neighborhood, and it's like, you had asked earlier about, like, what is the hub? And it's like, the whole street's a hub.
The whole street.
You know, it's like if you want to go to City Mouse and go vintage shopping, you can. If you want to go,
do you think because you are not from here? So have you ever come across an artisan or a creative who was a native that has wanderlust about other markets out there in the country, and then maybe until they experience that, they won't stay permanently? Do you think it's because you came from the outside that you saw it as more of a permanent home and not a way station?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
You know, it's like, I don't know. I hear St. Louisans gripe about the things that most St. Louisans, like native St. Louisans, gripe about, and I'm always like, man, like,
go give another one
you don't
take a lap over here.
And you also don't realize, like, you know, being from the Northeast Ohio, everybody, they bleed the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
But like you come here, they bleed the Cardinals. You know, they're pissed about the Rams. Like they love the Blues, and now they're taking City. Like, and that's just like the sports analogy. But like my friends here in the arts world, like native St. Louisans, like a lot of them could be anywhere in the world, making more money and probably having more opportunity to access in their field or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're proud to be St. Louis. And I always, like, St. Louisans, like native St. Louisans, don't realize, like, that their pride, how they live in St. Louis, rubs off on the people that live here and, like, that moved here. And it is one of the things I think that makes people stay.
So
there's a lot of pride here, and I appreciate that.
Big time.
You know?
So let's get into a little bit of the fun part then. Because I know that you're not going down to get a little Ted Drew's concrete on a Thursday. You know, you're not going to Pasta House.
I'm a soft serve guy.
Right,
When it
you're
comes to
a
that,
soft
I'm not custard. I'm soft serve.
Me too. Don't tell anyone.
Breakdown, you know, for, you know, you got 48, 72 hours. Give a little bit, you know, you don't need to cut your grass. You don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
You get to enjoy your city. What are some of the things you do? Food, out, or do you just sit in the backyard and drink Pinot?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because you can afford to
Garage
do that.
beers.
Yeah. Like if I have several days off and I want to chill in the city, like some anchors that I'll go to. I love Blue City Deli. I'll always get a sandwich there any day of the week.
What about breakfast?
Breakfast?
Yeah, I go breakfast. I'm a breakfast guy.
Yeah.
And there's only one answer, and let's see if you get it. Where do you get
I'm
breakfast?
Southwest Diner.
Oh, that's 1B. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I'm Southwest
Fiery
Diner.
scramble, the burrito, what do you get? All the above?
I switch it up. You know, I don't have a go-to.
It is.
I can't cook like that.
It's
you know,
fire.
the place is incredible. It's awesome.
I actually on Saturday I had the avocado salad.
Nice.
Absolutely off the chain.
Nice.
Whoa,
How do you make the avocado salad good?
Stop. Southwest Diner,
Yes.
and you had an avocado
They have an
salad.
avocado
That is
salad.
such a Santa
It's
Monica
a fried.
bullshit.
I know it's not at all what you're thinking. Don't trust me.
Just go try it.
Was
I'm
there
with you.
buffalo chicken in the avocado salad?
I don't know what they do to it. I don't know how. I had a guy at a client say once, I moved here because of this avocado salad. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I also got the fiery scramble and the other things. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. It wasn't a...
Well, I don't want to throw shade.
Southwest, that's solid. What else?
So, Southwest, Blue
Pie.
City Deli.
Where do you get your pie from?
A pizza?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm going across the street to Yaki's.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's a wood-fired pizza. Those are my people. You know, it's like, I love that place.
And then what's the deal on Monday nights? What's their happy hour? The wine deal?
Oh, on Mondays, they do half-price wine of anything that was opened over the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Brilliant. There you go. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Dinner time. You plus one that is not Fleming's in Huntley. Where are you going to eat?
Lona's.
Yep.
Lona's Little Eats.
Yeah.
Got it.
Can't go wrong with that. What about just a drink?
If I'm just going for a drink, maybe the Saturn Lounge, maybe the Whiskey Ring.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Do you see St. Louis shifting in real time? Because I feel it. I feel as if this is almost like an accordion style town, not like a hamster wheel. It just feels as if it gets really, really tight and boring, and then all of a sudden things open up and there's more things going on. But it's really the same blocks that we've always known. Do you feel like where do you view St. Louis today, 2025? We got a new mayor. We've got a little bit of. There's just a different vibe going on.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe kind of the opportunity or the engagement, that is occurring right now?
I mean, I think the city is always going to be walking uphill for a long time. It's hard to get back to like prominence as a city.
Sure.
And so I think that we're doing it. It's like, but it's a slow thing. I don't think that we'll see it come to fruition all the way, but I think that life here is good. Having moved here when I was 29, you're an adult at 29, but like coming here and getting intertwined in the creative world, I'm now 45 and I'm seeing people that I was seeing starting out or had been working on it.
Yeah.
And like whether it's artists or business owners and now seeing them 15 years later still doing it and the command that they have, I'm really interested in seeing where those folks push the arts and the eats and the politics for that matter.
Yeah.
It's cool. For me, it's cool. Like I'm seeing people that were starting their careers in whatever it was, and now they're in positions of like a full knowing of what they're doing. And when you have command of something, when things become second nature, you have like this little magical power, right? It's like, oh shit, I can react, I can take risk and know what I can fall back on. And to see people like that in the arts or restaurant world or business world or whatever it is, to see them at 25 to 29, 30 years old, and now to see them in their early to mid 40s and established, it's really cool to see people like
the peak of all their powers. Yeah.
The peak of like their decades long thoughts of putting things in motion. It's wonderful.
Dude, look, man, I love you. Like, we've become close over the years, and I think what you just said just struck a fucking nerve right down my spine, like, in a good way. Like, when you are a young adult trying to figure shit out, especially if you're a creative, or even if you're not, you just want to be a normal fucking person trying to succeed, this town gives you the ability to be in an incubator that you design. And you've got breathing room, right? It can happen. Deal with the bullshit. We all know the bullshit.
It's everywhere.
But that incubator has soft, cushy walls. Bounce off it. Do your thing. Try it. Test it. Because there's going to be people like you, Nate Burrell, that came here from Akron, that you got no loyalty to the city other than what you organically you baked into yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it was given to me as well. Like,
somebody else gave it to you.
Yeah, people that live here, like,
that's the play.
Whether they moved here or whether they're from here, like,
yeah,
I was lucky enough that, like, I have a great community, and, like, I want to live here. It's home.
Well, and I didn't even get into, like, we have these early morning text strings of, talking about the Renaissance effect, right? We trade stock picks. right? Every day.
Yep.
All these things that you can do that's like, okay, I want to be creative. Okay, fine, I'm going to be creative.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to go do my day job.
Yep.
I don't like that day job. I'm going to find a better day job.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I think I want to trade stocks too.
Right.
There's all these things you can do.
I want to be civic. I want to be political. I want to.
And I want to sit in a fucking whiskey ring beer garden and record a podcast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautifully said.
Dude, Nate, I just appreciate you taking the time, dude.
Yeah, I'm humbled to be here. Thank you for having me.
This is
Thank you.
This has been
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Thank
Anthony, Acclimate.
This was awesome.
Give me the website. Acclimate dot
City.
city.
Yep.
Nice.
Dot
You didn't
city.
go with the
Gotta.
Dot City. I love
You
that.
had to do dot city. Yep. Well, to your point, it was a little more evergreen, but
Super
.com
smart.
would have been easier. But I don't know if it was available. Actually.
Dot City's cooler.
Acclimate dot city. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Truly, it's more memorable.
Hey, yeah.
Dude,
Nope.
it's this has been
That's
this
the
has been,
business card. Dot
There you
City.
Drop the whole Acclimate situation.
Bingo. I love it. Well, I tell you what, guys, we're gonna roll out of here. I really appreciate you, Mr. Burrell.
Thank you.
Your time, Anthony. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
If you're listening, really appreciate you making it this far. Like, review, follow, share. It's all free. Come down to Cherokee. Walk it down. Start at Diane's on an early Saturday. Get yourself a little Mexican bakery dish. And then start walking east. And by the end of the afternoon, you probably will have a few pints, a few vintage teas, maybe that bacon scone I told you about. But you're going to have a day. And it is ultimately, I mean, it's really the epitome.
For my Texas and
B-side.
California transplants, a real Mexican street taco. So,
Yeah. And it's also one of the only areas in the city where you can park your car and spend the day and go home if you don't live here.
Yeah, for $4
Yeah.
on a meter.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
that shit.
Yep.
All right. Well, this show is all about the music as well. Started off with a little Nick Gusman. Go give him a follow. Beth Bombara was in the middle. I'll put these links in the middle. At the time of this recording, it's a little sad anniversary for me. My brother left this world 2 years ago, but he was a brilliant songwriter. I'm going to play a little bit of his tune on the way out. So thanks for listening. Give him a follow to Dana Michael Anderson. Check it out. Nate Burrell, Anthony Bartlett, and JB Anderson.
Thanks.
We are out of here.
Take care.
See you, people.
Well, the daytime seems to chase the night. Nighttime seems to need the light. Maybe that's still growing.